This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to the education and advancement of today's artists in the world of glass. My goal is to share an understanding of simple business principles and relationship development that you, the artist, can implement now. Starting with good habits and a solid foundation, you can grow not only as an artist, but also an artistic entrepreneur. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show.
This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Mountain Glass Arts. For the month of October 2016, Mountain Glass is offering their Boros sale, shot, rod, and tube at 35% off. Just enter the code SHOT at checkout. That's SCHOTT at checkout. And for all you soft glass nerds, they're offering their COE 104 sale, jewelry making essentials, 25% off. Just put in the code JEWELRY, that's JEWELRY at checkout for 25% off. And for all your questions, comments, or concerns, just go to mountainglass.com. That's mountainglass.com. This episode is also brought to us by Glass Roots. Now entering its 8th year, Glass Roots is designed for artists and distributors who wish to do wholesale business with shops and galleries. Located at the Monona Terrace Convention Center in Madison, Wisconsin, Glass Roots showcases the works of over 40 vendors consisting of raw material suppliers, functional and non-functional art, and charitable glass organizations. To stay up to date with Glass Roots, just go to glassrootsartshow.com. That's glassrootsartshow.com. Hey, yo, what do you know? It's the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 130. This is Jay Michael, your host. Thank you so much for tuning in today. How you doing? Yeah, it's fucking stupid, but whatever. How are ya? Thanks for tuning in today. Today, we're going to get into part 5 of our 5-part series on selling and pricing your work. And as we gear up for the holidays, part 5 is all about selling your work, thinking outside the box when creating unique holiday products, as well as how to go about professionally selling your glass to your retailers. There's a lot of topics and discussion going on here and little details. All the notes will be in the show notes as always, as well as this will be on wiseguymedia.com/130. And you can go there and download a PDF, which will have all this information there as well as a checklist of things you should do and think about while you go through the process of selling your work. I'm going to be discussing getting into platforms, social media feeds, prepping up your work, getting ready for the holidays, through promotional hype, and overall just having fun, because as much as the holidays can suck due to the chaos that ensues due to all the work we get done, all the holiday parties, as well as family time, and also trying to find a moment to sleep, it can be rather difficult to really sit back and appreciate what it is that we have this opportunity to go through during the holidays. Instead of having to work a 9 to 5 and be stuck in a cubicle, we have the opportunity to stay in our studios and create one-of-a-kind works of art that we can then sell to our loyal tribes, as well as get our work out to those out there who are not in our communities, that do not necessarily buy functional work. For those that are listening to this that are pipe makers, if you're in a hot shop or a bead maker, then you do know that there are thousands, if not millions, of people out there that are willing to spend their money with you for your unique items of art. Just the fact that there is a sea of people out there that are selling during this time of year, along with all the retailers, department stores, etc., including the big one, Amazon. And I'm actually going to be getting into an episode, I'm going to be bringing a guest on talking about selling on Amazon, because Amazon is definitely a platform that you could sell. But it's not as easy to get on as, say, Etsy or Big Cartel or a Shopify that you would create on your own, as well as selling through your own websites, which with WordPress nowadays and plugins like a WooCommerce makes it even easier to establish a home and foundation for yourself for you to sell your work. But if you don't have a website, the Etsys and the Big Cartels are great options, as they are already designed and built and established and have a following, as well as have access for you to be able to sell by taking credit cards and PayPal and etc., as well as save you time from having to build a site. But in the long run, I do recommend that you do have a home base like a website. So that's for another episode. But today we're going to be getting into the holiday talk. Before I do get into this, though, I wanted to cover one quick topic of interest that I experienced recently. Those that know I live in Florida, and this is guess could be an evergreen topic per se. We had Hurricane Matthew blow through, I guess 2 weeks ago now it's been. Was it Matthew or Michael? It was Matthew, yeah. Anyways, so it was a near-miss hurricane, Category 4, that could have wiped out the east coast of Florida, where I have a lot of friends and glass artists that live out there. Yourself listening to this might live out there yourself. And as you know, whoever lived out there was very lucky. Really, all of us in Florida were really lucky that there was minimal damage done, even though there were deaths across our state into Georgia and to the Carolinas, which is tragic. But that being said, it made me think about the idea as an artist and a glass artist. We need to have an emergency preparedness kind of setup system for ourselves so that if you do have some kind of shitstorm coming through, whether it's a blizzard or some kind of crazy thing going down, you have the ability to pack up your shit safely and quickly and get the hell out. One thing I would recommend is that you create a checklist of all your items and inventory that you have, as well as take a video of it and keep that video somewhere in like a Dropbox file or somewhere that you can have proof that you have all these items, so that if you have an insurance claim of some sort, you have record and proof. Because receipts can get lost, etc. And if you have video, I'd go through your entire house and record everything that you have, honestly. But the reality is right now we're discussing our studios. And so to go through and take pictures and video of all this stuff you have, all your equipment is imperative. And then keep all your receipts also on file. And then at that point, make sure you create a box, a Tucker tote, some kind of large container that you can put all your shit into, that on top of this container, your lid that you would have, you can have a checklist that you tape to it, and you just go through and check all your stuff off. By creating the video, you can go through and watch your video or just look at your stuff and make a list of everything you have, and then check it all off and just make sure everything's put away and packed, and then that way you can just pick it up and go. Now we know that, oxygen concentration systems, liquid oxygen tanks, the bigger tanks, that kind of stuff isn't going to be transportable, but the foundation of your business, of your life, of your security for your financial situation is your torch, your raw glass, your materials, etc., that you can just throw into a large box. So just something to think about. I'm going to be creating one myself, even though hurricane season for us here in Florida is only another month and a half until it ends. But still, be prepared for next year, and as well as for those that live in the snow. Again, if you have a bad blizzard, that's coming, some kind of crazy nor'easter. The folks out in the West Coast right now are dealing with typhoons and cyclones and all kind of crazy stuff. We all around the country or around the world have to deal with weather. So whether you're living in China or in India or Australia or wherever the hell you are, make sure you have some kind of way to put all your stuff into one box and get the hell out if you have to. And there's the Wise Guy Radio public service announcement of the week. All right, so now it's time for us to move on and get into our discussion about selling during the holidays. But before I do, I still want to go through and thank our sponsors. We have Glassroots that just ended last week. I heard some good things about Glassroots, actually a lot of good things about Glassroots, including the classes. And we're going to be bringing Nick back on as a follow-up to discuss Glassroots, the positives, the negatives, things they could do better, etc. As well as going to be bringing on a couple artists who have studios, production-level studios with artists working under their belt or the wing, whatever you want to call it, to discuss their success at the shows or failures as well, and things that they would do differently through the process, so we can all, as we grow in this world of trade shows, and we pick and choose which ones we like better. I'm going to be promoting Glassroots. I think Glassroots is the shit. They're, to me, the one that is really all about our community and keeping it American-made, not to say American-made, but being locally made glass. Whether you live in Japan, Canada, Mexico, as long as you're making this stuff yourself and you're going to these trade shows and selling it, it's considered, you're making it yourself, if that makes any sense. So that's what's coming up here pretty soon. I got to thank Mountain Glass also. We got to thank the Flow Magazine. If you have not yet gotten your Flow Magazine subscription, definitely go to theflowmagazine.com, subscribe to their newsletter or to their magazine. It's a quarterly magazine that comes out. They just had their collaborative issue, which was amazing issue, showing many, many artists that collaborated through not only just glass mediums, but also various mediums together. And then we also have American Helix with BoxFan, who's also part of the Flow, but also is a part of American Helix. If you like to collab with them or just buy their merchandise or just talk to them, pick their brains, you can just go to AmericanHelix.com, hit them up, and definitely check them out. They're on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else, as well as the Flow and Mountain Glass and Glassroots. So all their links and everything are on the websites under our affiliates link. So definitely go there, give them some love. If you're new to the industry and you want to buy a new kit for yourself, you can go to mountainglass.com/wiseguy. And on there, you will find a page that is dedicated to the show, the show's their starter kits, and also discounts you can get for buying those kits by putting the promo code WiseGuy in at checkout. And other than that, let's get on with the show. Alright, thanks for hanging out and tuning in. I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee. Today is a bowl of coffee kind of day, not just a cup, it's a bowl of coffee. So today we're going to be discussing all about selling our work during the holidays, and there's a lot of different areas to cover in this topic, between selling yourself as a retailer yourself, or also selling to retailers on a wholesale level, or as we've talked about also selling to distributors, because again, distributors are going to be really busy this time of year, not only selling before the holidays, but also restocking the shelves after the holidays. And these are all the things that you got to think about when it comes to selling your work. Now, if you're a functional glass artist in the pipe community, especially in this area, it's important to think about your retailers, what they have of your items now. You should contact them, say, hey, what the hell do you have in mind? Make a list of inventory that they have of yours to make sure that you either need to stock them up on more of that item or also not necessarily bring them that same item and bring them new stuff. And then when the holidays are over, make sure you hit them up and say, hey, what do you have left? What do you need? Let me bring some stuff to you. It's kind of some preparedness kind of things, and we'll get into more details as we talk about this. So we have a lot of variations and ways of going about selling our work, which we're going to be discussing, retailing yourself or also wholesaling or wholesaling to a distributor. Now, to start with, we're going to get into the conversation of selling to a distributor. In part one of our series here, we talked about selling to distributors, how to calculate baseline costs, etc., to make sure you're not shooting yourself in the foot and underpricing or overpricing your work. And just think about if you have a distributor, now is the time to talk to them about what it is that they have of your stock. Most distributors, in a sense, are good about communicating to you or to their artists about their inventory and what they need. Especially the amount of trade shows that are going on and the distributors that are going to the trade shows and promoting work and selling work, and also the amount of new accounts that they're getting. So just make sure you touch base with your distributors now. That way you can make sure that you have enough materials and stock to manufacture your product to stock them back up, as well as to make sure, again, after the holidays are over or even just slightly before they are ending. Typically the holiday season runs from basically... in my world, in Florida especially, it runs from October all the way through May, which is kind of crazy, but that's how our seasons here kind of work. The holiday seasons typically are November through January. Now, people for the holidays typically get gift cards that they want to use. Some folks like to say through May because of taxes and tax returns. One of the things that we talk about here in Florida, especially as the hospitality industries and the restaurants, etc. But really think about the sales, people buying things, typically for the holidays, runs from November through the end of January. So again, think about your distributor. If you have a distributor, if you sell on that level, to contact them, find out what they have. If maybe you have a new item that may be seasonal for the holidays, like a Christmas stocking hat, something simple and silly that you might want to throw out there. If you do dreidels, people like to buy those things. Just the things you can think about that are holiday-related items. Now is the time to make samples, get them to your distributors, and get the manufacturing process going so that way before Black Friday gets here, they have a shit ton of your work ready to go. Now, when you get into the retailers, the same thing applies to them as well. You need to contact all your stores ahead of time. Make sure that you understand that they have, or make sure you know what they have of your inventory, and make sure that they understand, too, that you're calling them in a relationship sense, not only just to touch base, but also just to make sure that you understand that they have needs. Make sure you give them a good week notice if you're going to be stopping in. Say, hey, I spoke with you last week, which could be 2 weeks ahead or a month ahead. Here's what I have. What do you need, potentially? And in that week ahead of time, you can maybe fulfill their needs with items that you don't necessarily always make, but that they do have a need for. And then you can go walk in there with a $1,000 case of glass or a $500 case of glass. You can manufacture $5,000 worth of shit and go hit 10 shops. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's different ways of going about this. Depending on what your relationship level is with these stores, how many retailers you have, and your outlets and the amount of items you also create. Now, if you're new at this and you're only, say, making hand pipes right now, that's fine. Hand pipes make great items for stocking stuffers. One thing you can put together for these retailers is a stocking stuffer type of kit or setup. And this is also something that I did too, and this is from experience from myself personally working in the retail. I ran a smoke shop for 3 years, and every holiday we would put a small little tree up, and then we would make stockings. And the stockings would come with a little hand pipe. It would come with a pack of rolling papers. It would come with pipe cleaners. It would come with, what else? And a lighter, I guess, also. And just kind of a side note, something that is a really good, cheap way for you to promote yourself is having a lighter manufactured. Just a generic, clear, piece of shit gas station lighter, or you can go through a website. I'm not sure who they are, but I'll look them up and have a link in the show notes where you can have like a nice Bic lighter made with your logo on it, which you can just stuff into the stocking. Just things to kind of think about. Also, you can, if you want to really spend some money on this, you can actually have your brand silk screened onto the stocking. Just some different things. Make sure if you have stickers made, get your stickers made now. If you don't have any stickers in stock, get them made. Stickers are a great way to promote yourself. Typically, stickers you give away for free. I wouldn't recommend selling your stickers. You could put them on your website or on an outlet to sell them, say for like $2, $3. But in reality, stickers are good promotional things. So think about selling to your retailers a stocking stuffer type of kit. The stocking, again, you can buy a small stocking the size of your hand. They're like 50 cents, maybe a quarter. And then make items that will fit in there, whether it's a chillum, a spoon, whatever, and put it together a small kit, and then wholesale it to these retailers for like $10. Sell it in bulk and sell them cheap. Make 50 of them, make 20 of them, whatever you got to do. But just some different things you could think about that they can then, if they have a small tree in their store, they can hang up on their trees. You can also go as far as actually buy a display for yourself that would then go into your retailer stores. You can go to local craft art stores. You can go to thrift stores. A lot of places you can go to that have like a metal-looking tree type of display that you can hang your stuff on. You can make a little sign for it, etc. I mean, there's a lot of ways, and I'm just kind of like brainstorming here with you as I go through this process to give you some different ways of thinking about going about selling your work. Just don't think in this little box of just, I'm going to sell my pipes. Think about selling kits. Think about selling fun items that not only you would want to buy, but that you think that these customers are going to want to purchase from the retailers that you're going to be selling these to, if that makes any sense. Now, something to think about also is that think about conflict of interest in the terms of you selling items specifically to retailers. I wouldn't recommend selling those same items yourself on a retail level as your own store. Getting into the discussion of now selling as your own retailer, this is where you want to think about items that you would sell that would be outside of the box, that aren't going to be necessarily functional items that you could sell on Etsy, or you can sell on a Big Cartel, or you can create a Shopify page for yourself, or if you have a website, you can sell it on there too. These are also items you can sell to any age, to anybody out there in the world, because our community, sure, there's millions of people in this community, in the industry, that support the functional glass scene, but outside of that, there is fucking billions of people worldwide that are going to buy items for the holidays that are not pipe related. Think about things that you can make that will be up year round. Think about things that are holiday related. You can make reindeer, snowmen, icicles, etc. Icicles are one item that are really cheap and quick to make. I should actually do a little demo video, which I think I'll do, on how to make icicles, just because you could sell 5-packs or 10-packs of these things for like $50. People buy them, whatever. Just some things to think about. But getting into now into retailing it yourself, it's imperative to understand the platforms you're using. Myself personally, last year was the first year I used Etsy as an actual consistent basis for selling for the holidays, and it was new. It took a long time. I mean, I spent probably 2 days of taking pictures, creating posts. One thing I recommend you do is go through and create, if you have like an Evernote or some kind of note taking tool on your phone, create just kind of a copy and paste basic simple thing, a description about yourself, about the products, etc., that you can copy and paste into the little parts of the description areas that they recommend. Now, Etsy's set up nowadays to where it remembers your tags, which makes it a lot easier to go through, but you still got to go through and add all the tags and stuff. I mean, it'll take you hours. So think about what you're making and think about how many posts you have to put up. One thing I recommend doing is that you manufacture, say you have 10 items and you make 10 of each. You can literally put on there what you have available. If you have 10 available, you can also choose certain colors. You can use a basic color palette, red, green, blue, yellow, etc., and put those on there as, okay, you have 5 items of the same one available, but there's one in blue, one in green, one in red, one in yellow, one in purple, etc. Think about ways of doing that. If you have a specific item that you're known for, like myself personally, I have my little owls, my little wise guys I make. Last year was the first year I did, as a sale, I did a limited edition ornament. I'm going to be doing another limited edition ornament. It's going to be the 2016 version. And if you do that as well every year, you can create a bit of a hype and also a following for your work for the collectors that are going to want to purchase your items every year. And the more that you buy, the more that they're going to make, and the more you do it, the more they're going to buy, and then they tell their friends and etc. And next thing you know, you have this huge following of people every year that are looking at buying your work. For instance, there's a company up in Kentucky that makes ornaments for Kentucky bourbon, and every year they do a limited edition ornament. My aunt actually sent me an article on this, and what they were shown was that this particular year, they wanted to make an ornament that had ice cubes inside of it, that looked like it had whiskey inside of it, and also the top was covered in a wax, as if it was like a bottle. And they had to go through experimenting and figuring out what type of liquid they could put inside there to mimic whiskey, because of course if it was alcohol over a period of time it would ferment and then you would have a bomb, it would explode. As well as also the cubes inside there, they can't be obviously ice, kind of duh. But things to think about. And it was this cute little small, probably like maybe tennis ball size ornament. It had the name of the company sandblasted on it, etc. And a third-party company, glass company in Kentucky, manufactured this item for them. So just some kind of fun things to think about. Again, if you have a niche, if you have a thing that you make that your special item for this time of year, and make a bunch of them. You can also think about, too, when it comes to the sales. Now we have Black Friday, and we have Cyber Monday. Now, the Black Friday sale, and you also have, it's like Local Tuesday. I think that's what the day of the week it is. I didn't look it up yet. But the idea is that Black Friday typically is for the brick-and-mortar stores, retailer-wise. But you can treat your online studio or stores like a brick-and-mortar and do a specific Black Friday sale. If you manufacture an item, if you make 20 of them, say this day only, you can get this item for 20% off. Or you can get 2 for $25 or whatever, but just have a sale that's exclusive for Black Friday. Through Etsy and the different platforms out there, you can actually create a coupon code that is good for those specific days and then put on your little thing which coupon code is, and you can promote it through your Etsy, through your Facebook, through your Instagram pages, and make sure you're promoting them. Make sure you promote them weeks in advance. If you know what you're going to be making, you know what you're going to be pricing it at, you know what you're going to be selling the discount for, etc. Promote that shit way in advance, but promote it every day. It doesn't have to be every hour, but at least once a day, put a little flyer up. If you have 10 items, then alternate them. Just take a picture of one thing. You can take a group shot of all the items, maybe make that one post, etc. But the idea is to promote these items throughout the process so that when Black Friday comes, people at midnight, when that coupon code is good, are waiting to go on your Etsy or your Big Cartel or whatever the hell you have to sell your work on, and they're going to buy your glass. And then on Saturday, when Black Friday is over, your coupon code is no longer good. Now, what this does is it creates people, it gives them the mindset that this item has got to be bought today. It's the idea of supply and demand. There's another term for it. I'm having a kind of a lapse of a brain fart, and I'm sure maybe y'all are screaming it to me right now. But it's just like a necessity thing that I have it written down here. Where the hell is that? It creates a scarcity mindset is the term. And basically what it means is that if you can't get it today, then you're never going to be able to get it again. Now, obviously, you can continue to buy it until you're sold out. But on the Friday that you have this discount, it drives home the idea that you need to buy this today at this discount. Otherwise, tomorrow it's going to be going up extremely high in price. Now, Cyber Monday is the same way. Now, what I did last year was I used Etsy as my platform to carry the work on after Cyber Monday, but I didn't post it up there until the Tuesday after Cyber Monday. I made my Cyber Monday sale exclusively through my Instagram page, and it was an Instagram-only discounted sale, and I promoted that about 3 or 4 days in advance last year. This year, I'm going to be doing it way more. But I created a little picture using a simple little app like PicsArt or something on my phone of what it was I was going to make. And for my Cyber Monday sale, I basically made 2 items, and the 2 items were being sold together. They weren't individually being sold, they were sold together. And say I would normally retail these things for $50. I did a 50% discount on that Monday, and I sold out, literally. Now, I don't know how much I lost because I didn't really care. I just wanted to do it as an experiment. I was really trying to feel out the whole idea and the concepts of selling on a Cyber Monday because I had never done it before, and also selling through Instagram as a way and a means to promote yourself. So just ways to think about it. If you don't have a PayPal account, there's different outlets you can have out there to be able to take check cards, debit cards, credit cards, etc. Again, you can use it for Etsy if you want. You can send people to your Etsy page if you have a Cyber Monday sale. You can send them to that item on if you have to. But whatever you feel is necessary to sell your work, go for it. These are just ideas, and I'm just sharing my experiences of what I went through last year. And I had a pretty successful time. One thing I will say is that I recommend that you send everything priority mail, have all your boxes all ready to go. If you have items that you've already created, have everything packed, everything ready to go. That way, when people purchase your items, you can print out their shipping labels, stick it on the box, and get it the hell out the door. Just make sure you stay organized by on the box somewhere, maybe where you'd put your shipping label. Underneath where you'd put the shipping label on the surface of the box, right on there what the item is in the box, so that way you know what it is. If you think you're going to be selling people multiple items, then maybe you want to hold off on packing them ahead of time. It just depends on what you're going about doing, but just think about making this as easy as possible, setting up a system for yourself so that as these sales are going, you're ready to ship them out. Because when it comes to holidays, people want their stuff. And I know last year it caught me off guard. I wasn't actually expecting this amount of sales that I had. And I didn't make $100 million or didn't get rich off of it, but I still had pretty successful sales in terms of the number of sales I had. And I was not prepared for it, and therefore I lacked on getting stuff shipped out in a manner that I wanted to. People still got their items before Christmas, before Hanukkah started, etc. But I still should have had everything prepared and ready to go so that as soon as that order was purchased, that thing was packed and out the door and gone. Especially the time of year, we all know the post office lines can get long. If you are shipping priority, depending if you have a house or not, I'm not sure how it works in apartments and condos, but the post office can come to you and pick your stuff up, which typically is how I go about doing it, because there's times where I'm a lazy asshole and don't want to drive to the post office. So just kind of some things to think about. Be prepared. Make a system for yourself. Make a checklist. Brainstorm. Do some research online. Go through Etsy. Go through all the different social platforms, and just see what trends are. See what's happening. Pinterest is a great outlet. I don't know a damn thing about Pinterest. My wife's been on there for probably, I guess when it first started, she's got like 45,000 or some crazy followers on there. And I needed her to show me how. I have a Pinterest page, but I just have never really used it, and I have to learn how to use it. From what I understand, though, Pinterest is a great way for you to promote your work, especially if you have a website or an Etsy or an online platform selling place that you do sell your work through. You can go through and promote your work through that as well, through Pinterest. And I'm sure you listening, if you know how to use Pinterest, take advantage of it. You can put your sales up there, have a link to your website. It'll take people that click your picture, it'll take them to your website or to your link or whatever it was that you sell your work on. Just the basic, I guess, kind of sum all this up is to set up a system to make it as easy as possible for you to be successful during the holidays. To back up to our distributors, contact your distributors in advance. If you have a distributor, find out what they need. Find out if you have new items you can make for them, samples, take pictures if you need to send it to them, etc. If they need a physical sample, get it made and it's out the door now. Be prepared for that. Make sure you have all your supplies and materials, etc. Get ready to sell, and then get that shit made and out the door before the holidays happen. If you're selling to your retailers, make sure you're in touch with them. You build these relationships. You continue to, if they already are built, that you continue to nurture them, because the retailers are there for you as you are there for them. And make sure, again, you call them in advance. Make sure that they are aware that you will be stopping by potentially in a week with said items that you let them know you have. Also, make sure you contact them and ask them what they need. If they have things of yours already in stock and they say they don't need any of your stuff right now, before they hang up the phone, ask them, is there anything else that you could use? Whatever it is, put your ego aside, put your pride aside. If you need to make one-hitters, depends on what where you are in your world and at the time of making this stuff. Just some things to think about. But be prepared. Again, it's all about creating a system and being up to date with yourself and understanding what it is that you need to do and being prepared. Third one is as your own retailer. If you don't have an Etsy, you don't have an online platform, get yourself on there now, create a link to it, learn how to use it, research. If you have a Pinterest account, use your Pinterest for promoting your stuff, use your Instagrams, etc. for promoting your work. If you have like 5 items you want to sell on a retail level through the holidays, promote one a day, every day, do group shots, whatever you got to do to create hype and people interest in your work. Also think about things outside the box that people can have in their house year-round, fan poles, etc., things that could be used in a utilitarian type of manner, whether it's a wine stopper, some things like that. You could sell your carb caps and some accessories like that, dabbers and whatever. Like I did candy cane dabbers I sold on Etsy last year. And they're also candy cane ornaments, which I sold them as, but it had a point on it that could be used for a dabber. So just think about that. But again, it's all about setting up a checklist, being prepared, and creating a system so that as your orders come in, you can pack them up and get them the hell out and onto your customers who purchase these things because they need them for the holidays. If it's for gifts for the holidays, typically Black Friday, Cyber Monday, local Glass Tuesday are there. If you do have local craft markets, if there's ways you can get into those craft shows now, get into them now. If you have a body of work that some places ask for portfolios, I did a whole episode on selling to trade shows, which I will link up in the show notes. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I'll have that link in the show notes for that. Selling at the local arts and craft shows is a great way for you to promote yourself to your local audience out there, look in your neighborhoods, etc. It's a good, cheap way to get your work out there. If you don't sell anything or a lot of stuff, it's still you're paying the booth fee as a way basically to advertise and market yourself. So make sure you're prepared with business cards. Make sure you're prepared with stickers, any kind of literature you need for people to pick up and have that they have your work. Have an address book that people can put their names and emails into there. Emails are still important as much as social media and all the different ways of messaging us goes about. Emails are still crucial for business. And other than that, again, I guess the whole summary of all this is be prepared. Be thinking outside the box, set up systems, and be prepared. Thank you for tuning in our Part 5 series of Selling Your Work. These will all be put together into a large one file here pretty soon that will be accessible for you to download as one giant episode of recordings and PDFs, etc. And basically like a little workbook on how to successfully sell your work and how to create it, etc. So until next time, thank you so much for tuning in today to episode 130 on thinking outside the box when it comes to creating unique holiday products and selling your work to distributors, retailers, and your own retail space. Love ya. Go to wiseguymedia.com/130 for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, stay up to date. And again, if you have not yet sent your glass out for our Secret Santa pendant trade, what the hell are you waiting for? Check your emails, check your inbox, check your junk mail folder. I've been sending out emails and have not gotten responses from several of you out there. So please get back to me ASAP. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Happy melting. Stay safe, hydrated, etc. And we'll talk to you on the next episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. Take it easy. Peace. Radio show is brought to you by The Flow magazine. Since its inception, the focus of The Flow has been to provide a bond among members of the lampworking community. In every issue, you can enjoy great content with the hottest artists and cutting-edge techniques using the latest industry products. These features, along with a continuation of our Women in Glass edition, Glasscraft Emerging Artist Awards, inspiring gallery showcases, dynamic general interest articles, as well as health and safety information, make The Flow the leading international lampworking journal. For more information or to subscribe to The Flow, go to theflowmagazine.com. That's theflowmagazine.com.